Friday, and joining us now, we've got Brian Hadad. He's the co-host of SportsTalk Mississippi. Before I start talking to Brian, I want to get something out there. Somebody asked me about if I played the lottery, and I just wanted everybody to know that as a board member, law prohibits board members from playing the lottery or anyone who lives in their household. And that same restriction also applies to employees of the Lottery Corporation. I just want to make sure folks know, even though I was talking about the lottery and the opportunity, no, I have, nor has my wife ever purchased a ticket. I think my kids play, but they do not live in my household, so they're perfectly legal. I just want to get that out there. Appreciate that question. It's a reasonable question, and the reason is to just avoid any conflict. Yeah. So when we first opened it, people said, I think you're putting all the winning tickets in your county where you live there. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, I go down there and pick them myself and go stick them in the rolls in the convenience stores. I digress. Just wanted to get that out there. Brian, what's going on, man?
Gerard, they didn't tell me that Will was going to be on the show with you. I would not have agreed to have done this segment if I know Will East was on the show.
I just want to see your smiling face, Brian.
Here it is, baby.
Well, we've been having some fun today on Friday, talking about everything from vaccines to masks to barbecue.
Well, barbecue's the cure for what ails you. If you can't get a vaccine, get a rib.
I'm all over it, man. Malcolm, boy, that was great. I'm hungry now after that segment. I got to tell you, I'm wanting some barbecue. Well, all right. So we got the SEC tournament, that being the one for baseball coming up in Hoover, Alabama. That's over there at the Hoover. Is it the Metropolitan? Hoover Metropolitan
Hoover
Stadium?
Met. Yeah,
Hoover Met. Yeah, been there before, coaching some kids. So that's coming up next weekend. It's a tradition, Memorial Day, for the SEC to gather the teams up. What's it look like from your perspective?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a great event like it always is, especially, after not having it last year. I think there's a lot of absence making the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
For the two teams in this state, if you look at the standings right now, there's a good chance that we could see State and Ole Miss playing each other on Wednesday night over there in Hoover. So we might get another round in that rivalry.
Yeah.
Ole Miss obviously looks like they're going to have to play on Tuesday. State right now is set to get the bye and play on Wednesday. But, the weekend has to play out. It could end up a different way from that point. But I think it's going to be a really good event, and it's wide open. Outside of Arkansas, who I don't know how committed they'll be to winning the tournament, I think that you could see 7 or 8 different teams go over there and have a chance to win this.
So by not committing to win, I assume that you think they're sort of saving up their arms for regional play.
Right. I mean, they'll pitch their guys, just to get them some work, but they know that no matter what happens over at the SEC tournament, they're not only in the NCAA tournament, but they're going to be the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah.
So they don't really have anything to gain from it. Whereas a team like South Carolina or Ole Miss or even Mississippi State to a degree has something to gain by going over there. They can raise their seeding. For South Carolina, they can lock in as a host. I think Ole Miss is a host right now, but they can maybe get back onto the national seed line with a strong performance over in Hoover.
Yeah, and the national seed, of course, means if they win the regional, they got the super. And when you're playing in that super, home field advantage generally works out to your advantage.
You definitely want that, and I'll tell you, Gerard. You look at these regional projections and what might happen this weekend. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we've got a decent probability that we could see State and Ole Miss matched up together across from each other on the bracket. We could end up with an MSU Ole Miss super regional.
How about that?
They might need to put that in the football stadium.
I was just thinking there ain't enough space in the stadium, one of the stadiums for that deal, is there?
No, they could play it at Davis Wade and probably put 35,000 people in there if they wanted to.
It's exciting, I think, to see how far baseball – I'm a big baseball guy, as you probably know. So it's exciting to see how far that has come at the college level. I remember when I was in school up there, I think my high school field was better than where we played baseball at Ole Miss. I don't know if you remember that old thing, if you were around then, but Paul Husbands, he used to hit bombs off the press box in Vaught Hemingway. I mean, that's how close center field was to it. But and it was just not to the standards of what we're used to today, these ornate stadiums. But it's good to see how far. And I would like to say, even though I'm an Ole Miss guy, I think you have to give a lot of credit to Ron Polk and really elevating baseball at the college level, don't you?
Yeah, he's the guy who made it. And you'll like this because I know you're an economy kind of guy. He made college baseball. He made athletic departments realize you could make money on college baseball.
Very true.
It used to be just a sport that Bear Bryant would go recruit 10 guys to put on the baseball team so they can play football with
him.
No
question.
Didn't care about playing baseball. Nowadays, yeah, baseball is a money sport, and Mississippi is sort of the driving force behind that because you look at State and Ole Miss, two of the best programs in the country, two of the biggest stadiums in the country, all that tradition. So, that's something the Mississippians should be very proud of is this state and how it stands in the college baseball world.
There's no question about it. Now, one thing that concerns me, however, though, Brian, is how baseball seems to have really fallen in other areas of the country. It's pretty much become a sport that is dominated by the South, by the southern part of the country. Even in California, where we're used to seeing Irvine and Fullerton and those programs, Oregon State in recent years, Stanford, it seems like it's declined. What's going on?
And those programs they're still good, but they're not as good as the SEC programs. But I mean, it's sort of the same track that football follows.
Yeah.
In that the South is where the athletes are. The weather is more conducive. I mean, you can't play baseball year-round in the North.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can play baseball every day of your life here in Mississippi. As far as California goes, I mean, you got to remember State and Ole Miss and Florida and Vanderbilt and LSU, they go to California to recruit. They get players out of those states.
True.
So, they're not all staying home and going to USC, UCLA, and you mentioned those other programs like Pepperdine and UC Irvine, Fullerton, who've had national championship success in the past. They're still good programs, but they don't have those same guys like they used to.
Yeah, and, I'm not sure if our audience realizes, I'm sure you do. Hell, Maine used to be in the World Series on a regular Maine, playing baseball in the World Series on a regular basis. I think Notre Dame has won several national championships. Even Minnesota, I think, has won national championships in baseball. They don't even play baseball anymore, do they?
Yeah. I remember Mississippi State going to the Maine Regional when I was in high school.
Yeah.
They played up there in Orano, I think that's how you pronounce the city, Maine. So, yeah, I mean, those northern schools, it's just a different day up there with those guys. And the SEC is, as it is in almost every other sport, just totally dominant.
Yep. Well, it's good to see, and I think it's a distinction for our state. You make that point quite eloquently that, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and certainly not leaving out our D2 school, Delta State, with their national dominance, and USM.
Jackson State was undefeated in the SWAC.
Absolutely.
USM is a great program. Yeah, it's all over the state.
Fantastic junior college programs across our state, and we play some dang good baseball in the state of Mississippi. We've got great teams to develop, competitive baseball teams for our youth. It really is kind of neat, and it's something that I think we can sort of stake claim to is truly a distinction for the state of Mississippi. So it's kind of cool. But a setup of Ole Miss and State in a super regional, I got to tell you, Brian, I can't fathom it. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I mean, there will be some fans and people who tune into Sports Talk Mississippi will be among them. That Monday, if that happens, there will not be some happy campers. either red and blue or maroon and white, but somebody's not going to be happy.
I hear
Monday.
you.
The other side, though, will be ecstatic.
Well, also, I wanted to ask you about this. I don't want to divert to political viewpoints here, but did the NCAA kind of just cave on this deal with our Fairness Act, where they said we're not going to let you have any postseason play if you pass that thing? What happened?
I think it's one of those things, Gerard, where the way they word things is very ambiguous. So they said, if we don't feel our student athletes are safe, but the universities are going to assure them, hey, your student athletes are safe.
Safe? Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but that's what the wording is, and that's what the universities are going to relay to them. It's a big word salad that everybody has to take a bite of every now and then.
All that garbage is when it comes out, you read it like, who came up with all those words? What are you trying to say? Well, that's awesome. I look forward to the tournament next week. As always, good to get back to it. Great to talk to you today, Brian. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me on, Gerard.